Blackstone Audio presents The Company of Cats by Marion Babson. This book is read by Sarah Nichols. Chapter 1. Perhaps, if it hadn't been for that morning's flurry of bills cascading through the letterbox, she would never have got involved. She stared unbelievingly at the telephone bill, midway between despair and fury. Couldn't that idiot who had rented her cottage pick up the telephone even once without dialing the International Exchange? Just look at the size of that bill. Annabel Hinchby-Smythe closed her eyes, tossed back the remains of her martini, and took a deep breath, and then a deeper one. Oh, the creature was probably honest enough, and would pay the bill eventually. Meanwhile, however, she had to pay it herself, or risk having the phone cut off, and he would expect to find it in working order when he returned from his trip to Italy. Annabel frowned and absently poured herself another martini. It was just unfortunate that money was so tight at the moment. It seemed as though every company in her slim portfolio of stock holdings had issued a profits warning and notice of decreased dividends. The stock market appeared to be going through another of its periodic crises. Furthermore, her lucrative little sideline of supplying items to the gossip columns appeared to have dried up. Either everyone had started behaving themselves, which was improbable, or they were lying exceptionally low. Also, most of her generation had sown their wild oats, reaped their whirlwinds, and were now quietly breeding polo ponies in Argentina, raising sheep in Australia, or, in one notorious case, writing poetry in a cloistered monastery. Annabel drummed her fingers on her glass, setting the clear liquid rippling. Obviously, she needed to widen her circle of friends and acquaintances. So it was just as well that she had agreed to attend that party being given by some highly dubious social climbers tonight. It was also fortunate that the opportunity to sublet her cottage had arisen at the same time that dear Dinah, who was taking a 3-month cruise in the Far East to recover from the stress of recent events, had offered her the Cosgrave pied-à-terre in Knightsbridge. Lady Cosgrave could be benevolent, in her own way, or perhaps she considered it further assurance against Annabel's changing her mind about selling that very interesting story to the newspapers. So far, Dinah had done a sterling job at covering up the scandal. Not that Annabel would dream of doing any such thing, and Dinah should have had more faith in her. But it was useful to have a rent-free central London base while she collected rent on the short-term let of her own cottage. That helped quite a bit. Now, if only she could unearth a few juicy items.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?